Greetings, fellow ghouls, and thanks for stopping by on this stormy Halloween evening. It's nice to have some company. As you can see from the full bowl of candy next to me, I haven't had many trick-or-treaters yet this year. Oh well, just a little lonely, I guess, as usual. Hello?
October's greetings. Happy Halloween.
Dr. Wolfula, a happy Halloween to you too.
Say, did you ever deal with that doppelganger business?
Well, I did my best. And I haven't seen it for a while.
Fantastic news, but keep your eyes peeled. It may not be gone for good.
According to Goulash's research, retreating to the darkness may just make it grow stronger. It may return more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Oh, thank you. That's, very comforting.
Seen any good costumes this year, especially of the slutty variety?
You know, to be honest, I haven't had a single trick-or-treater yet. Is something wrong with me? Do people not like me?
Guesty, isn't there like a terrible storm outside?
Yes.
And isn't your manor surrounded by acres of dense forest brimming with ravenous creatures?
Also true.
And, while we're still on the subject, isn't your manor notoriously haunted by countless vengeful spirits and dangerous demonic entities of unknown origin?
Well, countless, yes.
Then relax. If attendance is light, it's probably just because your whole setup is too spooky.
Which isn't a bad problem
For any self-respecting ghoul to have.
You know, when you put it that way.
Happy Halloween, Guesty!
Happy Halloween to you too, Doc. Give my best to Goulash.
No, I don't think I will.
Sorry, that was just my old pal, Dr. Wolfula. Check the description box below for a link to his channel. Go pay him a visit if you haven't already. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. I'm sure you were looking for another true scary story, Well, it just so happens I already have one picked out for this Halloween evening. This story happened when I was in the 7th grade. I went to an all-boys school from 4th through 8th grade, but in the 7th grade, we started having these social events with an all-girls school nearby. The first one was called the Fall Trip, and it happened on an overcast Saturday in mid-October. We all gathered at our school and got on the bus around noon and drove out to a place called Olmsted Farm. It was maybe an hour away, and was a local farm where you could go and pick apples, pet animals, go on a hayride, and more. I had never been there before, but I had heard there was also a pumpkin patch, and I was looking forward to getting into the Halloween spirit. One thing I was not looking forward to, however, was meeting all of the girls. I was a painfully shy kid, and the pressure of a social event where I'd be meeting a bunch of new people at the same time was almost too much to bear. So I sat at the back of the bus with a couple of my close friends and didn't talk to a single girl for the entire bus ride. Yes, I was a bit of a loser. I've come to terms with it. It's fine. Anyway, Olmsted Farm was definitely a bit off the beaten path. Again, it took about an hour to get there, and for the last half of the drive we were in an extremely rural area, with nothing but rolling hills and the occasional old farmhouse as far as the eye could see. The trees had already begun turning orange and gold, glowing like a fire on a chilly autumn evening. We pulled into Olmsted Farm around 1 p.m., parking the school bus in a large field by the entrance. The farm was little ways off the road, marked by busted old scarecrows with hand-painted signs. The teachers chaperoning the trip gathered us all up in a circle by the entrance and took a head count. Our schools had rented out the farm for the day, so we were the only people who would be there, apart from the people who worked there. As the teachers explained the available activities at the farm, including a caramel apple stand, I looked around the circle at my fellow 7th graders, noticing the girls from the other school who I'd never seen. Writing in my diary the night before, yes, I was a loser, we've covered this already, I had specifically set a goal for myself to try and talk to at least one girl on the fall trip. Now I was nervous, but optimistic at the same time. After taking attendance and giving a brief little safety meeting, the teachers let us roam free about the farm, reminding us to meet back at the bus by 5:30 p.m. My friends and I immediately ran off in search of the caramel apple stand. Like I said, I had been looking forward to getting into the Halloween spirit, but I hadn't predicted just how much Halloween spirit the Olmsted farm would have. Apart from the aforementioned scarecrows, there were skeletons, zombies, and ghosts galore decorating the entire farm. By the petting zoo on the roof of the goat area was an extremely realistic witch riding a broomstick. From down on the ground it looked like her face was papier-mâché or something, but there was a surprising level of detail. Also, whoever had told me there was a pumpkin patch had been severely underselling it. A massive array of orange gourds, all shapes and sizes, dominated the main area of the farm. It only took a second to find the caramel apple stand. My friends and I each got one. They were absolutely massive Granny Smiths, completely submerged in sticky caramel. Set up next to the stand was a toppings bar with nuts, M&Ms, crushed Oreo pieces, and more. We made our way through the farm, enjoying the festivities. I had a couple opportunities to talk to a few girls, though I wasn't able to summon enough courage to do so. I mostly just stuck with my friends, accepting the idea that I was unlikely to meet my journaled goal. Then, a bit later on in the afternoon, as the activities were starting to wrap up, something interesting happened. I forget where my friends had gone, maybe off to pet the goats or something, but I was sitting by myself at one of the tables next to the pumpkin patch, sipping on a hot apple cider. "Hey," I heard a voice near me. "Want to come hang with us?" I looked up in disbelief. Two girls I had seen on the bus were standing in front of me, also holding hot apple ciders. They were both wearing soft pink North Face coats. Sure," I stammered. "Sounds cool." "I'm Anna, and this is Blair." "Nice to meet you. I'm Franklin." "We were going to go check out the corn maze. You want to come?" the girls asked. Still somewhat in disbelief, I grabbed my cider and walked off with them. We talked a little bit about school and stuff for a minute, and they were actually pretty nice. I hadn't realized there was a corn maze at this place. Maybe the teachers had mentioned it on the list of activities, but I was too busy running off to find the caramel apples. Either way, Anna, Blair, and I walked to the other side of the farm where, behind an old stone house, was the natural wall of a cornfield and an entrance to the maze. Another hand-painted sign marked the location, a scary jack-o'-lantern with huge bubble letters painted around it reading, "Corn Maze, Start Here." Tiptoeing to look over the stalks, I could see a wooden observation tower deep within the field. "Cool, I didn't know this was here," I said, trying to keep the conversation going. "Really?" Anna replied. "You've never heard the story?" "Oh my God, you have to tell him." Blair seemed excited. "Tell me what?" I asked. "Okay," Anna began. "So this place is like totally haunted." "Haunted?" I tried my best to seem unaffected, but I got the feeling my best wasn't particularly good. "Yeah, haunted. As the story goes, years ago, the family that owns this farm, the Olmsteds, had a young daughter. She loved to play on the farm, petting the animals and running in the pumpkin patch. Her favorite place to play, though, was this cornfield. Back then, it wasn't a maze yet, and this farm wasn't open to the public. The Olmsted's daughter would run around and hide in the cornfield, and her parents would chase after her as she laughed. Just innocent kid stuff. But one day, when the family was playing in the corn, she disappeared. They had been chasing her, laughing and having a good time, and then she was just gone. They called out to her over and over again, but there was only silence. They scoured every inch of the field, but they never found her. After that, the Olmsteds, devastated by the loss of their child, opened the farm to the public so that other families could come and enjoy the place as they no longer could. They turned the cursed cornfield into a corn maze, carving paths through it and building that wooden watchtower in the center so that no child could ever get lost in it again. But legend has it that late at night you can hear a young girl laughing from within the maze, the spirit of the Olmsted's daughter still hiding in her favorite place, waiting for someone to come find her. Anna looked pleased with herself as she finished her story. I had to admit, a chill did run up my spine. "Where did you hear that story?" I asked. "I've never heard it before." "Well, I don't live too far from here," Anna replied. "It's sort of like a local urban legend. My older brother says he came here one Halloween with his friends, and they went into the maze and heard the laughing." "Bullshit," Blair interjected. "No, I'm serious," Anna insisted. "Brandon would not lie about that." "Well, come on, let's go in, unless you're too scared." Blair looked at me with eager eyes. "Me? Scared? Not happening." Determined to impress my new friends, but also, yes, now a little creeped out, I set off into the maze. Anna and Blair caught up with me, and the three of us marched through the corn, having a good time. It hadn't even struck me until that moment, but the goal I had given myself in my journal, well, it looked like I had done pretty well after all, talking to 2 girls and not just one. My feelings of fear subsided, and I started to feel confident. It was still light out anyway, overcast but light. How scary could a corn maze be in the middle of the day? Wait, was it still the middle of the day? Thanks to the thick layer of cloud overhead, it was hard to tell where the sun was. Maybe it was already getting later than I thought. After a series of some twists and turns, Anna stopped. "Okay, we should probably head back. It's got to be getting close to 5:30. It was true. The sky was slightly darker gray now, and it was starting to get a bit colder. The air had that familiar autumn chill. "You're right," Blair said. "Let's head back." The three of us started off back in the direction from which we'd come, doing our best to remember the lefts and rights that we had taken. I didn't think we'd been out there too long, so the entrance had to be pretty close. "Wait," Anna paused. "Did we come this way before?" We found ourselves at a 3-way intersection, and I didn't recognize it. Maybe," I offered, "but I don't remember where—" "We definitely didn't," Blair insisted, a pinch of panic creeping into her voice. "Here, why don't we try going to this way?" Before I could finish my thought, Anna and Blair had darted off to the left. I followed after them, but they started running. Left, then right, then another right, then... Wait up! They were gone. Darting through the narrow corn-lined pathways, I had lost them pretty quickly. It almost seemed, though, like they had been trying to lose me. No, they wouldn't have done that, I thought. They had been so nice to me. It was a maze, after all, but perfectly easy to get separated. "Hey, Anna, Blair, where are you guys?" No response. The sky was getting a little darker now, and we were supposed to be meeting at the bus soon. With no time to waste, I set off, figuring any direction was better than none. I rounded the corner and stopped in my tracks. In front of me, in a small clearing, was the wooden tower. It wasn't very tall, rising just barely above the tops of the corn stalks, but it was enough to get my bearings. I climbed the steps and emerged at the top platform, gazing out upon the massive maze and surrounding farmland. Behind me, the way I'd come from, was the way I needed to go. In that direction, I could see the entrance, the old stone building, the wooden farmhouse, the pumpkin patch, all of it. Off in the distance, I could see my fellow classmates leaving. The place was starting to clear out. If I didn't get back before the bus was scheduled to... Crunch! 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 behind me, a footstep in the maze. I turned around and looked across the tops of the corn stalks as they swayed in the chilly evening breeze. It had definitely sounded like a footstep. Were Anna and Blair still stuck in the maze like me? I called out their names once more across the gently rustling field, but there was no answer. Maybe I had been hearing things. My mind went back to Anna's story, the ghost of the Olmsted's dead daughter hiding in the maze. No, that was ridiculous, I thought. A stupid story Anna had told me to freak me out before they had intentionally ditched me. It had been intentional, hadn't it? Befriend the loser who wasn't talking to anyone, get him scared, then desert him in the corn maze. It all made sense now. With my newly confirmed heading, I descended the tower and re-entered the maze. Though the path still twisted and turned, it became a lot easier to find my way. Crunch! 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 I whipped around. There was no one behind me, but yes, they were footsteps, and closer now. Anna and Blair were still out here, trying to scare me. The thing was, it was kind of working. Nice try. I'm headed back to the bus. Stay out here if you guys want to. I won't wait up. I picked up my pace and rounded the last few turns of the maze. I was close now. I could feel it. The sound of a small laugh made my stomach turn. It was just the girls messing with me, right? I whipped around once more and saw someone disappear into the stalks. It happened so quickly, I couldn't make out many details, but it seemed to be a small figure with long hair. No, absolutely not. It couldn't be the ghost. Blair was pretty short and had long hair. It had to be her. Right? It was just a prank. I tried to reassure myself, but to no avail. I took off running, blowing past the main entrance and the pumpkin patch, and sprinting all the way back to the bus. I arrived, out of breath, just as the last students were getting on. I saw my friends sitting towards the front. "Where were you? We were looking for you everywhere," they said. "I was out in the corn maze," I replied, still breathing heavily. "I got a little lost thanks to Anna and Blair." As I said their names, I looked and saw them sitting towards the back of the bus. "Anna and Blair," my friend said. "They've been here for a while." That's impossible, I thought. I had seen someone in the corn maze just before I left, and I had run all the way back to the bus. There's no way they could have gotten here before me, much less been here for a little while. Anna and Blair eventually confessed to me that they had indeed pranked me, thinking it would be funny to get me all scared and then leave me alone in the corn maze. The three of us actually stayed friends over the years, and to this day, they still insist that that's exactly what they had done. Gotten me scared and left me alone. After losing me in the corn maze, they had immediately run to the bus. Neither they nor I ever had any explanation for the footsteps, the giggling, or the figure that I saw. But at least I had managed to achieve the goal I'd written down in my journal the night before the trip. I had talked to not one, but two girls, and maybe even had a close encounter with a third. Ooh, a perfect tale for this Halloween evening. I hope you enjoyed it and didn't find it too corny. Anyhow, you best be going. I think Dr. Wolfula's right about that doppelganger. It might not be safe for you here at Aberfoyle Manor. Take care out there and have a happy Halloween.